let's talk a little bit about the new member coordinator. This is a subject that was suggested by viewers like you. This was from Hannah Defoe, who is a regular on our channel. They want to know what is a new member coordinator. A new member coordinator works with the recruitment team of your unit. They do many of the basics when it comes to new parents joining your unit. And this crosses over to parents who have a habit of just dropping off their scouts, and then we hope they show back up to pick them up. That can be a problem. So to curb that, what we need is to invite parents in. We need to make them feel welcome, a part of the scouting family. Now, there are 3 elements that are needed for a successful new members coordinator's job. They're often not in uniform. They will wear either a non-uniform t-shirt that says welcome on it. They could be in a semi-uniform. It really depends on the individual. The whole goal there is to make sure that parents feel comfortable. Sometimes they feel threatened. I don't know why. All these doodahs and stuff that they put on a uniform can make parents uneasy. But there are 3 elements that we need to talk about. The first element is sharing the benefits of scouting. The new member coordinator should talk a little bit about how scouting has been incorporated in their own lives. This also affects that coordinator's family. By example, we can show parents that they can get involved too. There is a ton of research data out there for the coordinator to really use in their presentations with parents. We know the values of scouting, but do your parents? Parents should be involved also. They have an interest in their youth's meeting. That's very important. That's why they're there. And it's good to keep them coming back so that they get more out of scouting, just like the youth. Now, the new member coordinator needs to make sure that parents are connected. So using social media, whether it be an email or any of the social medias that are out there that are available, they need to be able to communicate with the parents. A lot of units have a website, and this is a wonderful way for them to write articles and information for parents about the scouting program. The new member coordinator also can help out in different events in the community. And this service is critical to the unit and to the parents. The second big part is, of course, they need to work with your recruitment team. Now, we did do a video about the recruitment team and included the new member coordinator. Now, if you'd like to check it out, it's right up there, okay? So definitely check that out. That video covers a lot of information. The coordinator actually oversees a lot of the activities within the recruitment team. They're also the lead for a lot of the school nights that are done throughout the area. They often put together information presentations, and they will even do peer-to-peer invitations to a meeting. Now, we both know scouts don't join because of a meeting, okay? They join for the adventure, and that's the big key. We want parents to know that it's safe, a good environment, and they learn a lot from these adventures, and that's why scouting is so important. Getting the youth involved, getting them out there, going to all these activities, very important. The event coordinator might also work with electronic media, and this could be anything from a website to emails, you name it. There's a lot of different things out there. The coordinator should promote all of the activities that the scouts are doing, especially to the parents. Now, don't stop there. There are grandparents too, okay? They are important in that scout's life, and they should be involved too. The new member coordinator also works with the Be a Scout pin. This is critical to make sure that these things are up to date. This is huge. We need to make sure this is done, because when people want to find your unit, they go to beascout.org. They end up here. You need to have everything on there that parents will want to know. This helps them sign up, get information, come to a meeting. This is the year-round recruiting I'm always talking about. It comes down to this connection, and the new member coordinator helps in this regard. Now, I'm going to put a link down in the More section. There's a lot of links down there, so go and check those out for more information. Now, the new member coordinator also works with schools. A lot of times they are teachers in the school, and they can promote and work with the administration to do all kinds of promotions for their unit. And it doesn't end with grade school. We're talking middle school also. There's a lot of times that the new member coordinator will work with community leaders in conjunction with their charter. Their chartered organization might get involved. So these are great connections, and this is the key. They keep the parents informed. Now, guiding that welcoming process is critical. You want parents to know that they're appreciated, that they should come to the meeting and not participate in the youth meeting, but literally go and work with the new member coordinator, or as I like it, call it the new parent coordinator. Okay, that's important. We need to help them get more comfortable. That is super important to brand new parents to your unit. Now, there is no reason there has to be just one. It could be several. Several adults can join in as a new member coordinator. That is totally fine. Having a team of them working with the recruitment team is super important. And this is a position that's year-round. It's not just seasonal with recruitment. A lot of people think that recruiting is seasonal. It's not. It is year-round. And this is a part of that. We want to develop that strong sense of belonging. Not just that their youth is part of the unit, but they are too. It's totally fine for them to do the youth protection and do all that stuff. That is actually recommended. Every adult that's involved with the unit should do youth protection. That training is critical to all adults. Even the ones that are not in leadership, they don't have an application in. I mean, mom and dad need to know what the scout leaders are supposed to do. That is critical. A new member coordinator can definitely help in that regard. I don't believe it should be done right away. Sometimes, you know that training because you've done that training. It can be kind of intense. So if you're not ready for it, that's something that a new member coordinator needs to work with new parents on. A good place to start for that is the Scout Handbook. There's a small insert in there. Make sure that the parents go over that with their children. Now that is an example of what a new members coordinator can do. They can actually go through that process. That could be a meeting. It could be questions and answers. This is critical for getting parents involved, invested. Now, one of the things they can also do is come up with an electronic Q&A. That's great, okay? You can put that into your website. You can send it out as an email. This is fantastic, and it should be constantly developed using the knowledge base from your parents coming in. That when they're starting to ask questions and stuff, that knowledge base starts to build, okay? And you can get that from your new parents. Now, in Wood Badge, we constantly say that feedback is a gift, and it is. You want that feedback from your parents. Now, I'm going to put a video up here. It's on the recruiting team. Being year-round. It's the only way to do recruiting. Year-round, all the time. Any given month, any given week, you need to have something in regards to recruiting and retention. And this is a huge part of it. Another big thing with the advancement team is to make sure that the youth and the adult applications are completed and filled out correctly. That's important. That is getting more and more electronic. So that needs to be reviewed too. And that goes for transferring records, doing all of the things that have to do with fees and stuff like that. This is something that a new members coordinator can actually help with. Now, the Scouts have their own program, okay? The youth are going to do their meeting, okay? Cub Scouts, a lot of the adult leaders work on that with them. So they're going to have a great program. The new members coordinator needs to come up with a program that's fun and exciting. So it might be something as simple as watching a video, or maybe just popcorn, to kind of promote popcorn sales. These are things that they can come up with that make it fun for the parents. They need to be involved too. It can be overwhelming if they're not in the loop, okay? That's really the thing. You know this. You're a parent. You know this. If you're not in the loop, you don't know what's going on. So that's a critical part of this, to keep them in the loop, to keep them active, to keep the youth doing their thing. We have to do our thing. That's just as important. Always promote that feedback. Feedback is so important. You need that from your parents, and we want them to get involved. Now imagine that. If you have 20 youth, you have 40 parents, okay? Or more, because we don't forget grandparents, okay? So this is huge, okay? So imagine a unit with that many youth and that many adults that are contributing and helping. Everything from service projects, driving scouts to camp, you name it. Okay, there's so many things that go on in the background that if you don't have the parents involved, it makes this job really hard. So don't dismiss this position. It's a critical position. If you've ever thought, like I said earlier, if you've ever thought only if parents would get involved, this is how you do it. This is how you get them to buy in. This is how you get them to be active in the unit and help out. And we do so much work, okay? You know this. We do a lot for our scouts, and we need to keep that going. A Scout Leaders Council. This is, your scoutmasters. You're the scoutmaster who would run it, and then you've got all your assistants, and then you have all the parents that might be directly involved, scout facing and behind the scenes. You might be committee people, might be somebody like a treasurer or somebody that takes care of the equipment. There's a lot of different people out there, and we've talked about that in the past. Early on, there was an episode that we did talking about scout facing and behind the backstage, okay, behind the scenes, okay. So, in fact, I'm going to put the video up and go there later. That is a great reference to what we're talking about. These are the adult leaders running the unit, so they should get together on a regular basis so that they can plan ahead. Now, there are many reasons to have this meeting. These are some of the points I'd like for meetings. It doesn't have to be at every meeting, okay? There might be other issues that need to be worked out. This is a great way for the adult leaders to get together and really talk about issues coming up within the unit. Now, just like the PLC, the Patrol Leaders Council, is run by the Senior Patrol Leader, the SPL, they are the ones that run that meeting. The Scoutmaster runs this meeting. It's not a committee meeting, okay? Don't try to make it a committee. Committee members are welcome. Committee chairmen, all of the adult leadership should be at these meetings. And there are many subjects. I'm just going to touch on a few. At the meeting, you might want to consider patrol assignments. Now, this is twofold kind of thing. So many units do a first year emphasis. They go from Cub Scouting or from a recruitment into a troop. Okay, so they'll have a first year emphasis patrol. After about a year, they need to be moved into other patrols. It's kind of a way of feeding back into and making room for the new scouts that are coming over. So the logistics of that need to be worked out. That's not a youth thing. That's something that the adults do. And there might be a need for each patrol to have an assistant scoutmaster as a contact, as a way to mentor and help the scouts' leadership. Leader training. Now, everything from YPT, Youth Protection Training, everything from that, all of the specific training, these are things that need to be mentioned. Now, there are reports that scout leaders get that tell which leaders need to focus on certain training that needs to be completed. Okay, and there's tons of training opportunities. Another thing that has to do with training is roundtable. We need to make sure that your adult leaders know that that's the other part of ongoing training. They need to attend roundtable. So important. A video. Okay, so there's videos about that. So definitely promote roundtable. Fundraising. Now, fundraising can vary. There are lots of different things that go on with fundraising. That is the adult end of it. The youth are going to raise, they're going to sell that popcorn, they're going to do the camp cards, they're going to do all those things. The thing is, the unit needs to be prepared to keeping the too deep leadership at a show and sell, okay? So this is logistics that need to be worked out with fundraising. There might be additional fundraising. Not many units can survive on just a few that the council puts together. So it's important that they come up with their own fundraising effort. And this is real adult led, okay? This is not youth led. And there's many reasons, okay? Contracts and pre-sales and all that stuff. This is something that the youth will be involved and they will lead, but it needs to be worked out ahead of time by the adults. Now that we're talking about scheduling, this is something logistic-wise it needs to be worked out. You know this. As an adult leader, we need certain things in order to go camping, in order to go to the camporee, in order to do an adventure. You have to have vehicles to transport scouts to these things. These are logistics that the adults need to work out. And this meeting is perfect for that. Now, another big thing to work out is summer camp. Not all adult leaders can give up a week vacation to go to summer camp. And sometimes they're longer than what they have available. So there might be a need for different leaders to come and go from summer camp so that they would keep that too deep leadership, to stay within the policies of the camp. So these are adult things that need to be worked out ahead of time. Advancement. This is a huge thing. The advancement team is usually with the committee. The advancement team is aware of the progress of a lot of the new scouts and making sure that they're getting opportunities to achieve. And the same thing's true from Start a Life and Eagle. Okay, they are from first class on. They need leadership opportunities. These are things that need to be brought up so that when elections happen, the adult leadership are not caught off guard. That they are aware of things like that. And advancement can keep you advised of that, but all the adults need to be aware of it. Program help. This is something that is critical to the youth leadership. We as adult leaders need to make sure that the facilities are there so that they can do their job. So that's a critical thing. We need to make sure that the facilities and the materials and all that stuff is available, possible. That is super critical from the adult standpoint so that they are not being set up to fail. Okay? We need to make sure they have the materials that they need so they can succeed. Now, another really big thing about Scout leader meetings, another really big thing is special projects. This could range, okay, and it's really an opportunity for parents to kind of step up. That's the important thing in a leaders meeting. In the adult leaders meeting, there's lots of opportunities to add in to the program. This could be something as simple as merit badge counselors. Merit badge counselors are critical to the success of a lot of the older scouts. So many times, scouts miss out on finishing their Eagle because they just don't have the counselors. Okay, so that's something that as a unit you could actually work on. That could be a special project. There could be other focuses that the unit needs to work on. This could be anything from a trailer for the canoes, or a container to hold the life jackets, or you name it. Okay, there could be other focuses. In some of the outreach units, it might be something like getting sleeping bags for needy scouts. It could be equipment based. It could be, it's an endless list. Okay, that's the beauty of an adult meeting. What's nice about the Scout Leaders meeting is that it is just the adults. Okay, and it's so that the adults can do what they need to get done to facilitate, to help the youth succeed. Let's talk about mentoring replacements. This is a big thing. In fact, mentoring or helping youth to mentor their replacement. That's a critical thing that leaders like us need to do. And this was brought up, this was actually a suggestion from the comment sections here on YouTube. Connor actually asked about it, and this is big. I get a lot of stuff. In fact, I was looking at next season, and most of the subjects we're going to cover next season are suggested here on the channel. So if you have an idea and I haven't covered it, put it in the comments. I don't care where it is, I'll see it, okay? So, but with that, it is important to remember that things change in every unit. Now, when I first went through training, my basic training as a Cub Master, the very first thing they said, the first thing you need to do is find people who would be able to step up and replace you. This is a critical thing in so many different units. We have to do that. There's things that happen. People get transferred in their jobs. They go, they retire. They move away. There's tons of different reasons that people go in and out of a unit, different leadership positions. This is something that happens all the time. And you need that succession plan. That's actual training. You can go online and actually get trained for the succession plan for your unit. The Scoutmaster needs to have assistant Scoutmasters that can jump in. The committee chair, same thing. The treasurer, same thing. The advancement, it goes on and on. Every position should have a team, assistants. That is super critical. This is also critical for the youth. So many times this can be devastating for a unit if they don't have leadership that's willing to step up and actually help out. It's one of those things that can be very bad if that's not thought of ahead of time. Now, as an adult leader, you know that a lot of times it's your friends, it's other leaders that are willing to step up and help out. But can they really do the job? There are three big things that needs, I call them the abilities, okay? That's just, they have to have them. These are three big ones. The first one is ability, okay? They have to have the ability to do the job, or at least learn the job. That is huge, to have somebody that has the ability to take on a challenge and really excel. That is a critical skill. Availability. This is important. It is critical to make sure that if you are going to be spending a lot of time working with an assistant scoutmaster, that assistant scoutmaster is not planning to leave or retire in 2 years, because you may not be done with your time as scoutmaster, and then when it comes time for you to retire, they're already gone. Okay, so you got to start all over. It's a mess. Okay, so you got to have that availability. And the last one is capability. If you were to disappear for some reason, is there somebody capable of doing your job? Did you leave them keys, information, passwords, that kind of stuff? Did you give them the ability, going back to all of them, to really be capable to do what they need to do for the benefit of the unit? And this is true, all three of these. This is true also with the youth. They need this too. They need to think about this. Now, we've heard this term a lot, multitasking. And it's not what you might think. A lot of people think that you can do several things at the very same time. Science has actually proven that that's not the case. Multitasking is being able to break up many tasks, many different tasks, into many parts, and being able to switch back and forth, one at a time, back and forth to get them all done. So multitasking has been interpreted completely wrong. There's a lot of youth out there that think they can play video games and their homework. They can't. We know that. We as adults know that. And that's true for people driving. They think they can do texting while driving. That's not possible. In many states, it's illegal. So these are things to think about when you think of multitasking. Multitasking is something that a leader needs to have. So it's a skill. Being able to break it up into small parts and being able to do all those parts, juggling back and forth between all the different parts. That is true multitasking. Not trying to do everything all at once, all at the same time. That doesn't happen. And scout leaders need to work with their youth. They need to give them skills, give them the abilities, give them the capabilities, and making sure they have the availability so that they can mentor scouts into becoming youth leaders. So that's a critical thing. And a lot of times you get into that multitasking thing. You have to break it up into little pieces and kind of juggle between them all. Okay, that's just leadership, and you need to teach that skill of being able to do that to other youth and other adults too. So many times we rely on our friends to jump in and take it over. That is not always the best thing. In fact, there's a term called a friend-made enemy. That can happen. So you don't want that to happen because that's not good. We all know that, right? So keep that in mind. Friends are going to help out, but do they have the availability, the capability, and overall the ability to do any of the leadership tasks that you're asking them to do? Now, every single leader, adult and youth, needs to have an assistant. That is critical. The assistant bugler, okay? that's it's important. Every position, every single one. Some of them need a team, okay? Like the scoutmasters, okay? All of the assistant scoutmasters and the scoutmaster. They need a team, okay? I have found that the most successful troops out there have many assistant scoutmasters, and they all do different tasks. They all have specialities that they do, but they're all ready to step up in case something happens with the scoutmaster. It is critical that we always have a plan, a backup plan in place. And this is true for senior patrol leaders. The bigger the troop, the more assistant senior patrollers you're going to need. I've seen units that had up to 3. That's totally okay. They have different departments and different things they do, but all 3 of them are ready to step up to be senior patrol leader. That is the key. And a lot of times, that's where that election process starts, is the assistant. The assistant patrol leader becomes a patrol leader. The patrol leader becomes an assistant senior patrol leader, and so on. It goes through that cycle, okay? So always having multiple backups of different things. And that applies to every position within a unit. With Cub Scouts, it's all adult-led. That's the thing. It's adults and parents. It's all family, and that's how Cub Scouting works. Whereas in a troop environment, it's all youth led. So you have two different realms of leadership, and you're always teaching leadership skills. You're always doing that multitasking stuff, with doing all the different things and having all of the abilities, capabilities, and availabilities. Got to have those things. That's the key. We got to keep that rolling, and with that, you can build a very healthy succession plan for many, many years into the future if you just keep it going. That's the wonderful thing. And we do so much for scouting, we don't want it to fail. We have to have those backups. That's one of those things. And if you don't have a position, I'll tell you what, we need you. And let's try to be realistic. Let's try to keep all the different responsibilities focused. So if you're scout facing, make sure you're doing those positions. If you're backstage, make sure that you're doing those positions. Try to be consistent. It's okay to have more than one, but you want to keep that consistency. Of course, I don't think there's any rules saying you can't have cross-platform, but that's all up to you. And I'm always worried that when you take on too much, when you can't say no, that will run you right into burnout. And that's not good. In fact, there's a video on burnout. Watch that. That is a very important video. But I know you do so much for your scouts, and I'm so proud of you and all the things you do in scouting. Always remember, we are teaching leadership skills, and this is one of them. We are teaching it to tomorrow's leaders, future managers, bosses, directors. That's who we're teaching. So always keep that in mind. We need to teach these skills, and we need to use these skills ourselves. So keep up that good hard work, and I will see you on the trail.